All right, next up here, boys, we are going to be talking about Cleopatra.
Yeah, Cleopatra
you want to give us a
coming
rundown
at you.
of this movie again? Why'd you pick this movie?
I thought it'd be funny. I literally looked up what's the longest movie Hollywood's ever made, and I thought it'd be funny to pick this one.
Did you watch the long version of this movie, or did you watch like the edited down one?
No, I watched the 4-hour version.
Oh yeah, Nico and I also watched the 3-hour, 42-minute, or whatever one it is.
No. I watched a 4-hour, 6-minute version.
There's an even... what the fuck one did we watch then? Did we watch...
we watched, like, the version that was edited down for theaters. Because there are, like, 3 different versions of this film. There's, like, the big, long one. There's a re-release that they did shortly afterward. There's, like, an edited down version for theaters. And there's, like, an even more edited down version for television.
Yeah, they had one that got down all the way to, like, 3 hours and 12 minutes or something, which is crazy that they can just take out, like, almost an hour worth of content from this movie.
It really says something about it.
It really does.
Now... Yeah, so I watched it on, HBO Max, which had the full 4-hour version. This movie is roughly a historical piece. Honestly, so a lot of the big stroke plot points actually match history pretty closely. They just embellish it a bit. We join our heroes at the end of a battle. It's like the end of the Roman Civil War, where Julius Caesar was finally seizing total control over Rome. And he finds out that the main leader of sort of the rebel factions has fled to Egypt. And so Julius Caesar goes to Egypt, and they find out, things are kind of fucky-wucky in Egypt. He was like, we left this brother and sister in control of Egypt, and now only a brother is here. And he's like, the sister is gone. And the brother's like, well, she died in the desert, but, I'm king now, or whatever the fuck. He's like, So Julius Caesar is hanging out there. Cleopatra sneaks into his room and she's like, my brother is a fucking asshole, kill him. He's like, well, I don't know if I can do that. And then he does it eventually. I don't remember. Yeah, I don't know. At a certain point, the brother is fucking banished or something or killed or whatever. And then Cleopatra is now in control and she's in love with Julius Caesar. And then Julius Caesar and her, they have a child. And then Julius Caesar is killed. And Mark Antony enters the picture. And he's trying to become like king of Rome. And he and Cleopatra are also into each other. And then fucking, what's his face from the Roman Senate, he's like, this is enough, she's a fucking whore, I'm gonna kill her. And then they fight, and then she and him die, and the end.
Whoa!
So, audience, before Nico and Jackson engage in shitting on this thing, let me give a brief defense of it. So,
yeah, go for it.
I think an important thing is that when you are going, I think it is worth seeing this movie, for one. I think it's an interesting film to behold. And the reason I say that is when you go and watch it, you shouldn't think of it as a movie. I think you need to look at it as theater. This is one of those interesting, in my opinion, movies where it's sort of a missing link almost between movies and theater. Because originally the way we would translate between those is that you would just point a camera at like a stage play, and that's how it was. This, in my opinion, is probably one of the first and biggest movies where they took these sensibilities and sort of the acting style you get in theater, but then sort of took advantage of the medium of film to create like these big elaborate sets and whatever that you couldn't do in a theater. And I think if you go into it with that mindset that this is sort of a loosely historical theater act rather than a movie, I think you'll enjoy it a lot more. Also, if you're not, an unsophisticated fucking mongrel like these two, you'll probably like it. Anyway, go ahead, guys.
Wow, really straw-manning us quite a bit there, aren't you, Tanner?
This movie's so long and it was so fucking boring.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's my review.
That's pretty fair. I'll expand upon that just a little bit more. Yeah, so this movie's crazy long, okay? Like, it is excessive in its length. Which
frankly,
I think, what's that,
frankly, it should have been 2 movies. The half with Julius Caesar and the half of Mark Antony are basically 2 different movies, and I don't know why.
Yeah, frankly, it should have been twice as long.
No, I'm saying
they should have cut it into 2 different 4-hour movies.
Yeah, exactly. No, split it down the middle and have 2 2-hour movies, and one's a fucking sequel or something.
Yeah, this movie has a fucking intermission in it.
Does it? I didn't even notice.
Yeah, it has like
we did watch different versions.
My version probably didn't then.
It had, because like it also has like the big ass like intro as well. It takes like fucking 5 minutes to actually get into this film for anything to really start happening. Which, like, just the big old length of it, it really contributes to a lot of just pacing issues and like the feelings as though the film is dragging. Which, really challenging experience to bother watching the film at that point.
Yeah. I will give it credit, though. I think the actual like set design was pretty solid, and I think the outfits and everything were pretty good, too. The squirrel's all right.
That's something that kind of blows me away about this movie. So, like, this was made in the 1960s. There were not, like, computer-generated interfaces or whatever. So when they wanted to create, like, that big naval battle scene, they just literally had to build a couple ships, hire several hundred people, and then have them, like, simulate an actual war out at sea.
Yeah, this film held the record for, like, the largest budget for a long time, and one of the films that actually surpassed it, that was the biggest budget film for a long time afterward, was one of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies for a very similar reason, because they just had to build a bunch of ships.
I thought you were going to say Avatar.
No.
No.
I think they got a big budget.
I think the budget really shows. They really go out of their way to try and depict like these ancient locations in sort of an authentic, or at least like authentic feeling way, I think.
Yeah. I definitely agree. I think that all that shit's pretty good. The score as well. The score I will give a little bit of praise to here. I thought it was pretty decent. But again, this film fucking meanders just constantly. Mm-hmm. There's like a severe lack of focus. And like even fucking like the main characters, like Cleopatra, it doesn't really feel like they explore her character all that much. There's not a lot of character development there for her.
I was going to say, I think one of my biggest problems is that I think they didn't do Cleopatra very well, especially since like it's named after her.
Yeah.
I feel like, because like, I think what they're going for is it's like, oh, look, she's like manipulating all these powerful Roman men and she's like, working behind the scenes and whatever, but a lot of times it kind of feels like things, like she's not being this grand manipulator and things are kind of just incidentally happening. Mm-hmm. I think just a couple of times, just like once or twice in the movie, they needed to have a scene where like she has a conversation with one of the guys, they leave the room, and then she gives like a coy smile or something, something to better indicate to the audience that no, she knows what she's doing. She is like, using her womanly charm and whatever to manipulate these guys into giving her what she wants. Because she does get what she wants over the course of the movie until everything goes horribly wrong. But yeah, I don't think they really empower her to the degree that I think the movie warrants,
Yeah, 100%. And just
I do think...
Go on.
I don't know about you guys. I think there are 4 scenes that really stood out to me as being like very well written and very engaging acting and whatever. It was when Julius Caesar confronts her after... Fuck, I don't remember what happened. Basically, anytime any of the main male characters starts yelling their lines, I was like, damn, this is really good fucking writing.
Loud equals good.
That's the theater part coming out.
Nah, yeah, I don't know. I found the dialogue really engaging. I like the scene where Julius Caesar, they're basically finally kicking the brother out, and they bring up one of the advisors, and and Caesar just goes, you're charged with conspiracy against the Roman whatever, and this other charge, you're guilty, your sentence is death, and then they just drag him off. And then I thought the scene where Mark Antony, when he confronts Cleopatra after they return from sort of that failed naval battle, and he's like screaming and yelling, he's like, I should have fucking died, I don't know why I'm such a dumb simp or whatever. I thought that was like a super well acted scene between the two of them.
Very relatable as well. We've all been there.
Yeah, of course. We've all wanted to die in battle, and then we pussed out for a girl.
Hell yeah.
You can't get no strange if you're dead, Tanner.
That's true.
That's gonna be the next Guapish shirt. Be on the lookout for it.
Mm-hmm. And, honestly, this is gay as fuck, but I think this movie actually might have sparked an interest in theater for me. I might actually go see a play or something now.
There we go. You should go check out the Book of Mormon. It's real good.
Okay.
Yeah, try to watch one of those, 360 plays. Finding one of those theaters is probably hard as fuck. Honestly, I don't even know if there's many of them in America, but they're pretty cool.
What the fuck is a 360 play?
It's basically where it, rotates... the audience, or there's a screen or something that rotates. You basically, they don't have to make these new sets for take them down and all that shit. They basically just rotate to a different set, and it just streamlines everything. And they can have screens on things to do I don't know, intermission things. It's it's just a completely different experience with normal theater.
That's pretty cool.
Do you guys feel like there are any plays that you really want to go see?
No.
Okay.
I can't even name a play off the top of my head.
Honestly, I'd be interested in seeing some of the Shakespeare plays, because I never read any of the Shakespeare stuff, but I hear that reading it is really hard because it's not meant to be consumed that way. And so they're actually fairly good if you watch them. I mean, I guess, I've seen The Lion King and I've seen The Northman, and both of those are literally just the plot of Hamlet.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, I've seen a couple of them. I've seen, I've had those examples, but I've also seen, actual adaptations of the plays, A Midsummer's Dream and stuff like that. But one I'm really interested in is Hades Town, which is, a modern retelling of the story of, Orpheus and shit like that.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I've heard really good things about that one. But as for the movie itself, though, guys, do you have really anything else to say?
Yeah, I was pretty fucking bored throughout most of this movie, and I was definitely zoning out for a large part of it, just because it was hard to keep my focus. I mean, I got that modern man attention span. We're watching a 4-hour-long movie from the 60s, where everything's already slow as fuck, was brutal on me. So I probably missed half of it anyways.
Do you feel like it would have helped if there was a little video in the corner of someone popping pimples or something?
I think so, man. I think that would have really engaged me. Pulling out ingrown hairs or something.
Yeah, right. Obviously, I'm much higher on this movie than you guys. I don't know. I found it really interesting as sort of fuck. I'm trying to put my thoughts into words. I found it interesting in sort of the connection it has to the past in the 1960s, and that sort of bridge between theater and movies, like I mentioned. I agree with the positive points you had where, the sets, the costumes, all of this was great. I thought the acting was good. The dialogue I found very engaging. I thought the plot I actually found really engaging, where it is this sort of power struggle between all these historical figures. I do agree with that sort of negative about Cleopatra, and I don't... Honestly, so I watched the longest version of this movie. I don't think I really had a problem with the length. I think I was pretty thoroughly engaged throughout the whole thing.
In fact, you want it to be longer.
Yeah, exactly.
Man than me.
It should be 6 hours long, but yeah, I think I thought this was a really good movie.
Well, fantastic! If you liked it so much, how about you give it a grade here?
I'm gonna give it an A.
An A, okay.
That's actually lower than I was expecting from you.
Well, it was long,
Yeah, there are definitely good parts about this movie, but Jesus fucking Christ, the length of it and its pacing issues just bring it down so much for me. I'll go my highball answer here, though, and say C-.
I'm going my low ball and saying D+. This is a controversial week so far.
Yeah,
apparently.
Puts it at a C+ so far.
Okay,
that's not terrible. It's an above average movie according to the overall ranking. Yeah. Speaking of what's another above average movie,
I will say once Dylan reviews this one, that thing that's going down.
Oh, it's going down to it. It's gonna be sitting at a cool D.